Hey, everybody.
My goodness. Boy, you're pretty bubbly this morning.
Yeah, well, it's Sunday.
Sunday
Sunday fun day.
fun
How
day.
about those Bears? Let's go.
Let's
Bear
go.
down.
All right. I really miss being back home in Chicago.
Not today, you don't.
Well, I know what?
It's cold.
I would not, feel like we're not like lined up right. Okay. There. I definitely would not go out to Soldier Field today, no matter how much love I have. However, if you were out there, I'd probably go,
Aw,
you know. Well, my goodness, there's so many things happening
yeah,
all the time in this world.
definitely.
Yes, and I've often said I never thought that I would see the day when all these things will be happening to us all.
hmm
Um, so we're going to cover some areas today. I like to talk about uh, kind of everything kind of flows every week about what we talk about, but I think Jennifer has something that I think you like to share. But before we get there, we're going to talk a little bit about why this is happening in this country, specifically Minneapolis. And I hear, Jennifer, that they're going to send 1,500 more troops there.
It's National Guard that's on
More
standby
troops, yeah. It's,
just to
it's
try to keep the peace.
Well, the thing about it, I've talked to my friend last night, and they described it as like a war zone. It's like
Mm,
being in Nazi Germany. We have our son is there,
yeah.
and I'm worried about them tremendously. And I'm not going to give you his name, but I might say it along the way. But he's even at a point where he said, "Dad, I think about a month I need to get out of this country."
Mm.
So I'm worried for him. I'm worried for everybody. We have cousins there. I talked to
Well,
her.
my hope is that within a couple weeks, they're going to be gone and they're going to move on. But it's hard to say.
Well, to be honest, when I said I never thought I'd see the day, we
Mm.
actually have, without it being spoken, martial law in
hmm
this country. We have a president that's turning American citizens against American citizens.
hmm
Um, it's all about
Yeah.
greed.
And if you're not aware of it, you need to wake up.
Wake up.
That means
Go ahead. Being woke.
being woke. Whoa. I
There you
have some
go.
drills here.
A badge of honor,
Yes.
knowledge, and wisdom. Number two, to have or be marked by an active awareness of systemic injustices, prejudices, and racism,
hmm
especially. And we just had a little glitch. Also, number three, to be open-minded, kind, and empathetic. And that is not some new age term. Empathy is important. Being able
hmm
to feel the pulse of what other people are going through.
Yeah.
And finally, the opposite of sleep is to be woke.
Hey,
So
and I'm woke and I'm proud of it.
proud of it. I come from the civil rights movement, and I've often told Jennifer about the marching, and I talked to you about my family being singers and marching, and Dr. King being tied into the family. I can't believe it's 2025, and Martin Luther King Day is coming up on Monday.
It's tomorrow.
And what would he say? Everybody's familiar with judge a man not by the color of his skin, but the content of his character.
Yeah.
And we can see right now we have a GOP, we have a convicted felon in chief that has no character. No character. You do not just shoot people and try to cover it up. Last week I talked about my lying eyes. We see things. We saw January 6th.
hmm
We see things. Um, I'm just flabbergasted.
hmm
It's the violence, the violence, the violence you can't dismiss. So that brings me to something I think I'd like to share with the audience out there.
So we're looking at Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 1 through 4.
And this is a prophetic verse
Yeah.
here that
Excuse
is
me.
coming to light.
So the prophecy that Habakkuk the prophet received, this is his complaint. How long, O Lord, must I call for help? But you do not listen, or cry out to you, violence, but you do not save. Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore, the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem of the righteous, so that that justice is perverted. And it was written so long. How long? We're
Yes,
how long?
yes, and a lot of people feel, whatever God you serve, whatever you call your God, whatever you believe in. Some people are believing that their faith is being tested, that their God is not listening. That's why it says, "But you do not listen."
Mhm.
But they still see the violence,
Yeah.
and people still are being harmed, not saved from it. Um, there is injustice, and there's wrongdoing. I mean, it's we all often
Mhm.
have asked ourselves, American. I'm sorry we having some glitches, but you can still hear our voice. Our video keeps going in and out for some reason. Um, but every day that I have wakened in my life, no matter who my friends are, and I have a multicultural bevy of friends that are from all different cultures, and I keep emphasizing the word culture as opposed to race. Um, it's the cultures that I am so connected to. But I do know because people see me and they see a race in me, education or who you hang out with. There's that thing in me that says I have to be careful.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the injustice that I have lived with all my life, several decades. Well, we see the destruction, as Habakkuk says, and violence before us, the strife and the conflict. And because of it, it says here the law is paralyzed. It doesn't seem to be a law, Jennifer.
Yep.
Are you saying yep? Meaning what?
Meaning I agree. It doesn't seem like there is law. What used to be called bad is now good, is being called good.
Well,
And
in my hood, it was that's a bad dude.
right.
That's me.
Well,
He's good.
we're not using that as slang today.
Okay, I'm just coming correct here, and
Yeah.
bringing truth to power
Yeah.
here. But this is the line, the last two phrases: the wicked him in the righteous, so that justice is perverted.
Mhm.
The wicked him. A him is something that you use to hold the edges together
Mhm.
and you stop it from going down any further unraveling.
Mhm.
So the righteous has been hemmed up,
Yeah.
basically. Okay. And so that means there's no justice, it's perverted. So it's very interesting how these things are happening to us right now, Jennifer.
I
And
agree.
so some people have talked to me about things. I want us to look at something that some people are not aware of. In 1954, we had a president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. This whole country is based upon race. Now, I want to just set something straight. This country was not founded on Christian, as they call Christian principles.
Mhm.
People get Constitution, Declaration, and Christianity thrown into things, but that's not true. Long before we had what we're going through today, we've gone through this before. I want to share with everybody something that you may not realize. And I mentioned the year 1954. That was also a year that affected Black people. There's segregation going on in the schools, coming under law, Plessy versus Ferguson, which means separate but equal. But then there was a little girl in Kansas, Brown. There was a Thurgood Marshall, there was the Supreme Court, Brown versus Board of Education.
Mhm.
But in that same year, now we're looking at racial issues that were going on that due to Dwight D. Eisenhower. I want to show this clip. And this guy, the convicted felon in chief, is trying to mimic what Dwight D. Eisenhower said. Now, remember that when we talk about racial groups, there's what's called ethnopolisms, racial epithets, or racial slurs, as we break it down and call it. I want you to sit back and listen to what happened in 1954.
This promise was a cornerstone of Donald Trump's campaign to retake the White House.
I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
There are an estimated 11 million unauthorised immigrants in the United States, which is around where it's been for the past 25 years.
25
And
years.
since Trump's victory, there have been protests in cities like New York, which is home to around 400,000 undocumented workers.
Yes,
Trump has compared his mass deportation plan to the policies of the Eisenhower administration
This
in the
is
1950s.
the
The
Gulf of Mexico
Republican
there.
platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country, even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
A former general and Allied Supreme Commander in World War II, Dwight D. Eisenhower was elected president as a moderate Republican
Look at his
in 1952.
partner, Richard Nixon.
At the time, the American economy was in a post-war boom. There was a baby boom, a building boom, and a dizzying array of consumer goods were pouring off production lines once geared
Those
for making
radios.
tanks and bombs and planes. Shiny new dream cars covered in chrome were suddenly affordable to average American families.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
America was certainly on the move. There was also a boom in the number of Mexicans crossing into the United States for work.
Every 30 seconds, a so-called Mexican wetback enters this country illegally. The number is increasing.
Did you catch that word?
Wetback?
That is like saying the N-word.
Yeah.
And it was boldly stated right there on the news. And it was boldly written into a policy. That's what Eisenhower called it. So don't get it twisted. This racism has existed for a long time. Black and brown folks, y'all also have gone through it too. How did you all give up your votes, put that man in the White House, and he's turned on you? Just like Eisenhower did. Just to tell you what was happening more.
Some days, as many as 5,000 are caught and sent back in a single day.
During the war, Mexicans had been welcomed into America under the Bracero program to fill the farm and factory jobs left vacant by millions of American servicemen. Most never needed work certificates, and post-war...
That comes under the same
Mexicans
thing as
followed.
TPS, temporary protective status, that they're trying to rip away now. Look at the stereotype
But
there.
the GIs back home and the good times still rolling, the migrant workers were blamed for keeping wages low.
It is America's right of our government to limit the number of immigrants our nation can absorb.
So, in 1950,
You heard him in his election, they're taking away your black jobs in his campaign. The same racist things that were said in 1954. And then you hear that, you see that term alien. So this is a double slur. You
Yeah.
know, why are you calling a group of people alien, like they're not even human?
They're humans.
Yes. So we'll keep going here.
Before, Eisenhower announced a crackdown known as Operation Wetback, a derogatory term for Mexicans sweating from their manual labours.
Guards round up Mexican workers without identity cards and start them on the road back home.
That year, US officials claimed around 1 million Mexicans were sent home, although the real figure may have been more like 300,000. And among them were American citizens
That's
of
the same
Mexican
thing
descent, rounded up in military raids,
The Orange Man does.
jailed,
He makes
and
up
deported.
statistics.
So, that is Trump's blueprint. Although, at times, his rhetoric is more like one of the leaders that Eisenhower and America once fought to defeat.
And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country.
And there are fears, like Eisenhower, by mistake or by design, Trump will also target immigrants who are in America legally.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
Jennifer, come on now. You share Kamala's base, so
You know, that almost has become my favorite line that he has said, just because of how ridiculous it
it's
is.
totally up there. He's
I use it to tell people to show people how ridiculous and stupid he is.
and I'm up here thinking this fear,
Hmm.
placing fear in your denial of your opportunity, just like the thing that Eisenhower did.
Hmm.
They're taking your jobs. The one thing that's not being said here, and I must be real stern here, one of the things that's not being said here, the fear of Black men and Hispanic men, is that there's white women involved.
Hmm.
That, okay, you got Black dudes, white women, Hispanic dudes, Mexican, Chicano, Puerto Rican, white women. They're not just eating your dogs and your cats, but they're going to take your women too. No one has a statement or a ruling about who people love.
Hmm.
Love whoever you want.
Right.
But we have racism. The racist underneath all this stuff is there. You know, it has to do with white culture. This whole country, I mentioned, is not based upon wasn't founded on Christian principles, was based upon what they want to do as a white culture, to maintain the white culture. Whatever that really means, you know what I'm saying? So that's it. So here we've seen this operation. Midway. That was a blitz to, for the Nazis to do. This thing is so calculated, but let's not forget, all of this is probably a smokescreen for this situation.
It's the moment Jeffrey Epstein is asked about his friendship with Donald Trump, and it's going viral today.
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
The year was 2010, and the financier was battling an onslaught of lawsuits from multiple women, accusing him of sexually abusing them as minors.
This is where I want to go back to this.
It's the moment Jeffrey Epstein is asked about his friendship with Donald Trump, and it's going viral today.
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
The year was 2010, and the financier was battling an onslaught of lawsuits from multiple women, accusing him of sexually abusing them as minors. Epstein and Trump were known to be good friends, and in the deposition,
This is the cover-up. All this distraction.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Epstein pauses, shakes his head, then answers.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
The deposition has resurfaced as the backlash over the Epstein files continues to dog the president. Today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche traveled to Tallahassee to speak with Epstein's ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. She served 20 years for recruiting underage girls for Epstein. One thing Ghislaine Maxwell may be asked about is the birthday book, a book of raunchy letters from Epstein's friends she reportedly put together for his 50th birthday. According to the Wall Street Journal, President Trump wrote a letter with a doodle of a naked woman. He's calling the report a scam and is suing the newspaper.
The existence of the book is it's an absolute fact.
An attorney for Epstein's victims say the book is real and is currently in the possession of the Epstein estate.
It's going to go down in history so that the world can see this book, and they'll know who were Jeffrey Epstein's best friends at the time, what other pictures are in there.
So you see, I just wanted us to not lose sight of what we're really dealing with. We're dealing with a situation where Epstein is the main issue here. What do you think?
Well, I agree that Epstein is the main issue and Trump is trying to cover it up. However, he's not utilize how do I say this? The things that are happening today with our immigration and deportation, that was going to happen regardless of the Epsteins, right? Of all of that. That's my belief that, yeah, he's using it. He's using it as it's conveniently a great distraction. However, I believe what's written in Project 2025, that it was going to come to fruition.
Yeah, but
regardless of what the past was with Epstein.
The most significant thing here for Trump is, oh God, help me for saying that, is the Epstein files.
Mm-hmm.
What's in that Epstein files will take him down.
Yeah.
And tell the truth about.
Will it though?
Yes, it's. I mean, he's identified in there, and I tell you why it's so important to him. Just on Friday, this was done. This is why I'm saying this. So on Friday, he's still got this on his mind. On Friday, Trump's Department of Justice quietly filed a motion to block Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey's request for independent monitor to oversee the release of Epstein files in the closed case against Ghislaine Maxwell. But this is it. So he's trying to block them from releasing the file. That's why I'm saying this is more important to him. So if I can blow up all the cities and get people's mind off of Epstein and not show the truth about what I really did, this is why I say, Jennifer, it is the Epstein file.
Yeah.
Just recently, as a few days ago, 2 days ago, they snuck this in. It says quietly. He's sneaky. He does everything sneaky. So how does this work? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the Justice Department early this month but see, they had dates set up, December 19th, all these other dates set up where they're supposed to release these files, and they keep coming up with excuses.
Well, they've released some.
But yeah, there's like
and
millions.
A whole bunch of it's been redacted.
Yeah, all of it, most of it. It's only like 1%.
Yeah,
that you can see.
It's crazy.
Okay, I'm just going to read this part. In their initial filings, Representative Ro Khanna and Massey stated that they had urgent and grave concerns about DOJ's failure to comply with the act, which is Epstein Act, as well as the department's violations of this court's order. The Justice Department admitted earlier this month that it still has not released over 2 million documents related to Epstein. So, moving on down here, this is what they continue to say. We are informing the court of serious misconduct by the Department of Justice that requires a remedy. One, we believe this court has the authority to provide, and which victims themselves have requested, Khanna and told the Associated Press. I'm not going through all the different laws and amicus brief and all those kinds of things here, so I won't bore you. But this is the end statement that's important here. That says, we are sure it's just a coincidence, but today is the statutory date for the Department of Justice to explain. In other words, they had by Friday, that was the date set, the statutory date for the DOJ to explain its redactions, like you mentioned that word, in the Epstein file production. The Democrats on the House Oversight Committee wrote in their ex post about this following a military operation in Venezuela. We have not forgotten and we won't let up, regardless of this president's new unconstitutional action. So therefore, what I'm saying here is that it is the Epstein files that is the main issue that we must try to contend with. I'm totally appalled by what's going on here. So let's review, let's look back at what has happened.
Okay.
Jen Psaki put together some clips and just remind you what people are going through out here in these streets. I used to use this term when COVID came out. I'm moving through these COVID streets. Well, I'm moving through these ICE streets right now, trying to understand. We have a terrible situation in this country, and it's been going on a long time, a very long time.
Meanwhile, we continue to see daily examples of ICE agents using excessive force against civilians. We're seeing ICE agents brutalize both immigrants, suspected immigrants, and protesters on the streets of Minneapolis, tackling people.
Look at that.
Totally ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. Pulling people out of cars, and this is...
Oh, your skin's brown.
Or black.
I'm going to pull you out of your car.
And now they've added...
I'm going to throw you on the ground.
And you're a woman that's a white woman that's reporting these people, and look at what is happening. We don't want you to be involved. And especially if you look like you might be, look like Renee Nicole Good and her wife, I'm just going to shoot you.
People deploying tear gas, smashing windows, and pulling people out of cars. These are just some of the scenes. We've seen ICE agents get physical, even ripping phones out of the hands of citizens trying to film their activities. We've heard from a reported father of 6 who told Sky News that his children went to the hospital because ICE agents threw a tear gas canister underneath
a little
his car.
6-month-old baby.
Yeah, almost died.
Showing an overzealous Border Patrol agent seeming to threaten someone they've detained with pepper spray to the face, which is apparently excessive enough that the agent was seemingly restrained by another officer who appeared to know better. I guess that's good, but still, this is happening out there a lot. Even the president of the Minneapolis City Council says he was assaulted by ICE agents while observing an agent carrying out an arrest. I'm going to talk with him also in just a moment about what's actually happening on the ground. These are the kinds of heavy-handed tactics the administration is defending. Secretary Kristi Noem even said ICE agents are doing everything correctly. But it's never been more clear that the Trump administration is stoking this chaos on purpose. And we've seen this movie before. I mean, Trump used aggressive ICE tactics in Los Angeles and Chicago to create chaos, which he then used as justification to call in the National Guard and ratchet up tensions even further. And now he's considering a more drastic escalation for Minneapolis. Today, Donald Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, a rarely used law that would allow him to send the U.S. military into the streets. But unlike his National Guard deployments, invoking the Insurrection Act would allow those troops to carry out law enforcement functions like making arrests and conducting searches. It would militarize the city of Minneapolis, pitting U.S. service members against their fellow Americans.
My goodness. I think that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Well, I think it's going to happen. That's just my thought. I think we're there. I think it's just a matter of a day or two.
Yeah. So the Insurrection Act is an Act of 1807 is a federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy the U.S. Armed Forces and federalized National Guard units domestically to to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion. So it seems to me, if there's civil disorder, where's it coming from? Who's creating it?
It wasn't there until I showed up. That's all I'm saying.
They're creating it.
Yep.
This is the problem that I have with here. We're going to skip through the different sections, but the thing permits basically military, like she said, militarized Minneapolis. But this is the problem: presidential discretion and constraint. The act grants the president discretion to act as deemed necessary. However, before using force, the president must issue a proclamation order dispersal while no congressional approval is required. President's actions under the act can still be subject to judicial review regarding constitutionality. But that's after he's already done something. So what this does is open, pardon the pun, the floodgates for this man to do whatever he wants in any state, because what he can claim is that the impact of the insurrection in Minneapolis is crossing state borders and influencing other people. So then he'll take it back to Illinois, he'll take it to other states and just take over this country to give him a path to his dictatorship is what he wants. He told us all on day one he was going to be a dictator. Do y'all believe him now? Do you believe him?
You better believe him.
Yeah, that's one thing about him. So I'd like to share this. This is kind of little snippets from a child. I always believe in listening to children. And this little girl here, there's going to be 3 different clips here I want us to see.
Ripple outward, disrupting daily life for millions, not only immigrants, but citizens as well.
The only thing ICE is doing is ruining Minnesota, and this is sad to see because I have family that are getting deported constantly, and this is affecting me. This is affecting going to school because the kid that was took during the Target raid, I knew him. My friends knew him, and this is so disappointing to see. This is so disappointing to see. So I will stand up for it because never let journalism die. Fucking gas me.
The killing of Renee.
So, what are your thoughts about listening to that child? From the mouths.
I just have no words. I mean, it's disgusting. It's very sad what's happening. They're trying to invoke fear. It's preventing people from getting their groceries, it's preventing people from going to school, going to work.
Going to Target.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, let's see what else. She continues to express her emotions.
As deception. What emerges from Minnesota is not simply a law enforcement controversy, but a constitutional crisis.
They don't care if they're hurting people. They do not care if they're hurting people because their only agenda is to steal people. It's just to steal people and keep them detained. It doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen. I've been here for 16 years of my life, and they'd probably take me because of the color of my skin. They're not judging you based off your citizenship. They're judging you off of accents.
This is
accents and color of skin.
This is a young girl.
Yeah.
She's 16 years old, and she's so aware. She's woke.
Yeah.
Now, that's what you want an example of being woke. She knows what's going on around her. She knows that because of certain criteria, she's awakened to that.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't justify their political gain.
Federal agents operating in overwhelming numbers, using force against civilians, suppressing protest and evading accountability evoke imagery more commonly associated with internal conflict than democratic governance. State leaders have compared the scenes to civil war.
I'm going to go back here.
Leaders have compared the
so there's a scene here.
Internal conflict than democratic governance.
I can find it.
Evoke imagery more
Look at
commonly
his
associated
face.
with internal
He's a
conflict
brown
than
person,
democratic governance.
dressed as ice.
State leaders have compared the scenes to civil war.
So listen to the, I just want you to see what this, that scene there, to see how this fits what she closes out and says. Okay.
They don't care. They're mocking us. They're treating us like we're below human, like we're dirt under their boot. And it's disgusting to see because they're treating their own people like this. There's Asian officers in there. There's Hispanic officers in there. And it's sad to see because it's just showing the levels of corruption that is here in Minnesota still.
The danger of this moment lies in not only the harm already done, but in what it normalizes. When immigration enforcement becomes indistinguishable from military occupation, when asylum is treated as a crime, and when citizens can be injured or murdered without transparent investigation, the boundary between democracy and authoritarianism grows perilously thin.
I wanted you to hear that encapsulates when asylum becomes something against the law. People that were, allowed to come here, a member of the temporary act, where people could come in and work. Now it's changed. They can no longer do that. Okay. I want to go back to this whole thing with, I don't know where it is, the whole thing that talks about the situation with, it's gone. I want to run through this whole thing with, just give me a few minutes here, with that explains a little bit about this whole killing of Renee Good. And I just want us to look at this in retrospect, to go back to this terrible situation, why there's no transparency. You mentioned people can be murdered and no transparency. Hopefully we can see this, without disruption.
There is a mountain of new evidence and brand new reporting today that undercuts the original lie told by Donald Trump and his cabinet in the wake of the shooting death of Renee Nicole Good, that she was somehow threatening the life of the ICE agent who killed her. That lie has been used by the Trump administration to justify a surge of federal agents, more agents being sent to Minneapolis, and ever-increasing brutality being used against Americans and immigrants alike. A comprehensive analysis of currently available video footage by the New York Times shows that the ICE agent who killed Renee Nicole Good was not being run over, as Donald Trump and others have claimed. Watch.
This moment is when Agent Ross fires. We see the other agent pull back from the SUV. Both of them stumble, apparently slipping on the ice. This is also the moment many have said looks like Agent Ross getting run over. And it does when watched at full speed. But looking more closely, we can see in multiple angles that there's a visible gap between the vehicle and his...
You see that? There's a foot, a gap. To be run over is have impact in the front. Okay.
Legs, indicating his feet are positioned outside the SUV's path. The agent's left hand is still against the vehicle and gripping his phone. We see as he fires, it's recording the clouds and the trees overhead. It's not because the agent is knocked to the ground. The other angle shows he's still standing, continuing to maintain his grip on his phone and his gun, and we see a clear and growing gap between his body and the SUV as he fires a second shot and a third.
Really run over, huh?
As if that first shot was not enough.
Concludes that it was indeed
I know.
Good's killer
Rattles
who
you,
made
doesn't
the
it?
now infamous comments after shooting her.
According to our analysis of audio from Agent Ross's cell phone video, this is his reaction.
Good. It's the F word followed by the B word. A reminder, Donald Trump said that Good ran over the ICE officer who shot her. Vance said that she aimed her car at the officer. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, wearing a cowboy hat, called her a domestic terrorist. All of that now flies in the face of all of the evidence and everything that anyone can see with their own eyes and ears.
Ooh.
Transcripts of the 911 calls were also released last night. They capture the shock that firsthand eyewitnesses expressed and felt and shared with 911 operators in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. A sense of panic and a sense of fear for their own lives and the safety and well-being of their children jumps out from these transcripts. One caller says this to a 911 operator, quote, "A bunch of ICE agents on 33rd and Portland, they just shot a lady point blank range in her car." When the operator asks, "How many are there?" he responds, quote, "There's 15 ICE agents and they shot her, like, because she wouldn't open her car door." Just before hanging up, he says this, quote, "Send an ambulance, please. Ambulance, please." Another caller to 911 tells a 911 operator this, ICE just shot someone on Portland between 33rd and 34th, shot an observer in her car and it crashed, end quote. The 911 operator responds by saying, quote, "Okay, somebody else just called us and, well, can you see the person who shot at all?" The caller responds, "I'm sorry, I had to walk away because I have young kids and ICE is everywhere over there. But the person who was shot, you can see the car ended up crashing, so I don't think they're okay," end quote. New details and brand new evidence about the shooting death of Renee Nicole Good and what it says about the Trump administration's gaslighting of Americans is where we start today. Senior contributing editor and Minneapolis native Michelle Norris is back with us. Also joining us, former DHS.
Okay, I'm going to just cut it here. There's a lot more that these people said, but you get the drift. And and what I like to close on is the word that she used.
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting. There you go.
We are being gaslit.
Gaslit.
This is disgusting. We have the government telling us we did not see what we saw.
Okay, baby. Okay.
We did not see what we saw. I'm sorry, but we did. No, I'm not sorry. We did see it. We witnessed it. We witnessed the murder of an innocent woman.
Yes. And, it's, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, I do think that some of our administration, last week I mentioned the thing about Benjamin Franklin and I mentioned Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin is the sitting, just show you here. He's the ranking member of the Judicial Department. And so what Jamie has done, I won't read the letter to you, but he sent out a letter. He wanted to know, I mentioned before that the convicted felon in chief, he released his own private militia when he released 1,500 people to set them up in positions to be part of ICE. So this here, he requests produce the following information as soon as possible, but no later than 5:00 p.m. on January 26th. A list of any name, job, function, working unit, and total compensation package, not limited to signing bonuses, law enforcement availability pay. Basically, what he's trying to do is find out how many of these convicted felons that were pardoned are part of the ICE group. That's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the letter.
Oh, are you talking about the insurrection of January 6th?
Oh, yeah, another insurrection. This is interesting here. This person here, you talked about on January 6th, Jared Wise, then a former supervisor special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, stormed his way into the Capitol building. Now, this guy used to work for the supervisor agent, as did so he taunted and threatened police officers defending the building and the ones inside, screaming, "You guys are disgusting. I'm former law enforcement. You're disgusting. You're the Nazi. You are Gestapo. You can't see it. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you." Mr. Wise goaded and cheered on others rioters who were beating police officers repeatedly. Now, Mr. Wise has never expressed remorse or contrition for his criminal action. When Trump issued the blanket pardon, Mr. Wise escaped accountability for 2 pending felony charges: civil disorder, insulting, resisting, or impeding officers as other officers. So he got pardoned along with 16 other people on his first day. But listen to this. Today, this is the same guy. Mr. Wise serves as senior advisor in the office of the Deputy Attorney General of this United States, alongside another January 6th participant, Ed Martin, the U.S. pardon attorney and head of the DOJ Weaponization Working Group. Y'all get the picture.
Yeah.
These people, convicts, well, what can I say? The convicted felon in chief, 34 felony counts, rapist, fraudster, everything else, grifter. He is in charge of this country. So why not? Birds of a feather flock together. But I want you to look at this footnote here by Nicole Ford that says she found more than 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents. They've been kicked, dragged, detained for days.
Yeah.
Citizens.
And ICE Barbie, Christy Nome.
Yes.
She just last week said that U.S. citizens should now be making sure that they have their ID on them to prove that they're U.S. citizens. And that has never been a requirement, and it never will be a requirement of U.S. citizens to carry documentation with them to prove that they are United States citizens.
Yes. In addition to these people going up saying that they're being under arrest, it's an order. It's not a warrant. A warrant has to be signed by a judge.
Yes.
These people are being taken in. They open their door.
Don't open your door if ICE agents are outside.
No, if they don't have a warrant signed by a judge.
Yeah, it has to be signed by a judge.
Then you don't have to do anything like that.
Yeah.
So I want to close out and remind people who is really behind this. Who is really behind this?
Where do we go from here? What do we do? What do we do as a nation? How do we preserve our democracy?
Well, we have to keep documenting.
Because they're going to be held accountable. Eventually.
Documenting. That's all we have. You know, and also Jamie Raskin, I love him. He's fighting the fight. He wrote that order. He wants to know because he's going to show, he wants accountability for all these people doing that. So they're trying. Just today, yesterday, not only did this convicted felon in chief try to do something else, but there's a thing called gerrymandering, where they're trying to redistrict certain districts in different states to benefit the GOP of Republicans being elected, which is, in other words, they're trying to eliminate black votes. Okay, I'm just going to be real. But where did this come from? This is what I want everyone to think about. This is the person that's spearheading this whole thing from, you mentioned Project 2025. This is the guy.
Who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash. And we have plenty
So stupid.
That's young Stephen Miller, and he's always been an asshole. He's Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. He's also known as Trump's brain. Leaked emails show he's a white nationalist, which isn't surprising given that he's behind immigration policies like family separation and the Muslim travel ban. His emails show that in 2015 and 16, he promoted white nationalist books, websites, and conspiracies
Camp of the Saints.
at Breitbart, a far-right news site. More than 80% of the 900-plus emails reviewed focused on race or immigration, referring to the debunked conspiracy theory that non-white people are deliberately wiping white people off the planet. He referred to President Calvin Coolidge in his emails multiple times, backing his eugenics-based immigration policies once praised by Hitler. He was upset when some retailers stopped selling Confederate flags and symbols after the Charleston church shooting by white supremacist Dylan Roof, and encouraged Breitbart to create a counter-narrative. He often recommended articles from white nationalist websites like American Renaissance and Beat Air to highlight interracial crime. He pushed for coverage of The Camp of the Saints, a French novel loved by white nationalists for its racist depiction of non-white immigrants. He loves pushing false racist narratives so much that in 2017, as Trump's senior advisor, he reportedly blocked the release of a government study showing that refugees had a positive fiscal impact. But that's not all. He's friends with Richard Spencer, the most notorious white nationalist in the US. Spencer was a central figure to the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017. This guy went to high school with Miller and had a lot to say.
Stephen Miller was never bullied in high school. Stephen Miller was the bully. He bullied the kids who are already marginalized by our society, and he continues to do that from the White House today.
Am I the only one who is sick?
This is the guy. So now you guys know where it all comes from. It comes from Stephen Miller. He's the guy. He and his wife. She even has, I don't have it with me, but she, they're trying to take over Greenland. She has a map of Greenland that's covered with the image of the American flag. A sovereign state. This guy in the White House is trying to pull a Putin.
Oh, yeah.
Imperialism.
Well, World War III is about to break out, I'm afraid.
Well, I hope not. And so...
Not only a civil war, but a world war.
Well, we are already in the Civil War. I used to call it a cold Civil War, but he's bringing it every day, every single thing, creating much chaos.
Yeah.
Throwing everything against the fan, so to speak, to distract you away from the Epstein files. Don't get it twisted. Remember, on Friday, he was still trying to get them not to do anything with the Epstein files because there's truth there of what he has really been up to. So that's our show today. And I just hope that we were able to impart some truth to people, to share some of the thoughts and things that are going on.
Challenge yourselves. Go out and talk to somebody about what is happening in our world, because we all need one another. We need to group together. We need to meet together. We need to form groups that can actually go out and protest together, because you know what? We're stronger when we're together.
Yes. But be prepared. You're going to find a lot of people that are going to push back.
Yeah.
But keep bringing that truth. We rightly divide the word of
Yeah.
truth. I think I love what you repeated, what we did last week. Don't tell us what our eyes see and our ears hear.
Yeah.
That we have seen the video.
They must think we're stupid or something.
They do think we're stupid. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I will share with you that, I had a situation just the other day. A guy just brought up and started telling me that she got herself killed. She did all this and she was a terrorist. I asked him over and over, where did you get this from? Well, they said,
they said it. They said it. Do you not have a freaking brain on your own?
No.
Can't you think? Can't you do your own research?
He heard it on the news.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
He heard it on Fox News. That's what he said.
Wow.
He was listening. That's their go-to, Fox.
Yeah, because
News.
Fox is always right.
Yeah. So, you got anything else you'd like to share?
No, I better sign off before I say something I shouldn't.
Okay. All right. Well, only thing I say is everybody have a great day. Go Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's been 40 years. Okay, 1985.
It could be
41
the
years.
year. It could be the year for them.
It could be the year. And they even celebrated the World Series 2016 Chicago Cubs last night. Chicago's on fire. Well, they're going to need a fire in that game today.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
As it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And some of my other teams that I cheer for, they have been eliminated.
Yeah.
You know, and but I hope the Bears don't follow that path.
Honey, how long has it been since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. passed?
68.
Can you imagine? Have you ever thought 68 years from the time that he died that we would still be fighting this fight?
Well, I was in the fight. No, I've talked a lot. No, I marched, I did things. I have a lot of
Yeah.
my friends.
But did you
and Dr.
ever
King-
did you ever
and
imagine?
No, I know that Dr. King, um, would be totally upset.
Yeah.
They're trying to strip everything away. They're trying to strip away any kind of awareness of Black. And I just want to just close with that. Don't John F. Kennedy was married to Jacqueline Kennedy. Jacqueline Kennedy, John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy Sr. Were always involved with civil rights, helping Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting that this man, he still has a hair up his behind over John F. Kennedy, Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, President John F. Kennedy. And so to destroy the East Wing, the Rose Garden, it was a direct attack on John F. Kennedy's legacy.
Yeah.
To put his name on the Kennedy Center above President John F. Kennedy.
It wasn't the Kennedy Trump, it's the Trump Kennedy.
Is a disgrace.
It's disgusting.
And then what's even more disgraceful, how dare she, Machado, bend the knee and give away her Nobel Prize. I give credit to the committee. They saying it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You can't transfer or give away that Nobel Prize to someone and they can't claim it that they won it.
You know what? I've got some runners medals. I've got some Taekwondo medals.
Okay.
Maybe I ought to just box those up and mail them to the White House.
Yeah. I mean,
and give it to him.
He wasn't even a part. People get these participant ribbons or trophies. He wasn't even a participant for a peace prize.
Yeah.
He created no peace. Look at what he's doing. How peaceful is that? Threatening Greenland, killing people in the waters off of Venezuela. I mean, he has killed over 100 people in those boats.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about that right now. There was no congressional bill. And then how much peace is it? You have a decorated serviceman with Kelly trying to strip him of his rank, take away his pension because he's telling the truth to these officers. Someone who's been to the space, someone who was a combat pilot. And how can a man who dodged the draft, who didn't even go into the military, how can we call him commander in chief? He doesn't even know how to do a salute. I'm just really.
He doesn't even know how to command his own turds.
My wife is waking up.
All right.
Okay, move right along.
We better go.
Okay, with that said, y'all have a blessed day, a blessed week, and remember, keep the faith and love one another.
That's what it's all about, guys. Love one another.
Love one another. And notice the games in the football, they're fighting back against, that's another thing, trying to take away DEI. The NFL is fighting back. Whether they have helmets on, it says, we all love one another or something like that. Hey, that's what we need to do. Love. Yeah. Okay.
Stay woke, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. Ooh, sorry about that. Bye-bye.
Have a great one.